Hey there. Welcome to the Gyro Step Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN. Plus, we are presented by our friends at Prize Picks. I am one of your hosts, Ty Windisch, joined as always by the very brightly colored, kind of looks like Sunday Tiger, Rohan Katti. Monday Rohan. How's it going, Rohan?
Doing well, doing well. I don't think I can emulate or replicate the vibes of Sunday Tiger, but I'm gonna do my best right now.
You should
Whatever.
always be careful about emulating Tiger's vibes.
That's why I'm a little trepidatious.
Yeah. That's probably
Um,
good.
but I appreciate the comparison to an iconic look. How about that?
There we go.
Um, it was so funny. You said GSPN Plus
Oh, yeah.
presented by Prize Picks, and that reminded me. We gotta remind the people that we now have a premium subscription available. If you go to gspn.info, you can find all fun stuff, exclusive podcast videos, articles, and ad-free versions of all of your favorite GSPN podcasts. So just a reminder, that's at gspn.info. But yeah, Ty, doing well. It's the Tuesday morning after a long weekend, but we persevere. We keep going. We keep bringing everyone the best content possible, and we're here. The NBA season's still going along. We're getting a lot of rumors about the off season as well. That's what happens when there's only three teams left at the time of recording,
But really, too.
and yeah, basically two teams left
Yeah.
at the time of recording, and yeah, we just keep chugging along.
Absolutely. Yeah, so today, the main part of the episode, we'll see actually how long everything ends up being. We're at a weird part in the offseason right now. We keep saying we're going to have draft coverage soon. We will have draft coverage soon. It's been a busy time, folks. It's hard to learn enough about all these players, but we will have that. I'll just start saying before the draft. Sometime before the
Yeah,
draft,
how about soon? How
we're
about
gonna have our
soon?
draft in the next month. We'll have our draft coverage, but we are going to go through my matrix of Derrick Jones Jr. esque players, which I am calling chasing Derrick Jones Jr. And I will share the data set on GSPN Premium. I'm going to do a little write up with some takeaways as well, so you can look forward to that later this week. That is a firmer timeline than the draft coverage that is eventually coming from us.
It's gonna happen.
It will happen. It will at some point. It will at some point. Before the draft, I will say. We're not going to just do post-draft. We'll get there. But you can look forward to that. You can find commercial-free versions of our episodes. You can find GSPN Jeopardy. You can find our first premium episode last week where we, along with, God, there's a bunch of people, us, Newmock, Jordan, and Andrew, all discussed which Wisconsin sports team, pro, will win the next title. So that was fun. So all that can be found over at gspn.info. Should take you right to the new Substack page where, again, it's not just written content on there, although we have that too. There is videos, there's podcasts, all of that. All is the home base is over there at gspn.info. But first, before we get to the DJJ Matrix, we have a couple of news items. The first one, as you mentioned, Rohan, but the NBA is down to three teams, but really two teams, as the Mavericks lead the Timberwolves 3-0, and the Celtics eliminated the the Indiana Pacers last night. The coffee's still cooling down, so it will be it'll almost certainly be a Boston-Dallas NBA Finals. You said before we started recording, this makes you sick. Discuss.
It's a lot of teams that, for personal reasons, and as someone who's an avid watcher of the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't like. First of all, Boston. I shouldn't need to explain that. I'm sorry. I know we have some Celtics fans that are listening, but you have to understand. I cannot get behind it. I just can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's the boogeyman. That's what the Boston Celtics are, the boogeyman. And it's been really, really, really fun to just point out the fact that they've only won one title in the last like 40 years. It's
Yeah.
been really fun. And now they have a chance to end that, and I'm very upset about it. It's just for Boston first and foremost. They're the poster child. They're the favorite child, and I don't want to see them succeed. I feel
Right.
like that's pretty straightforward and simple. And for Dallas, oh my God, what reasons are there to not? What reasons are there to like Dallas? I mean, one, you've got Jason Kidd at the helm, which
Yeah.
is just evil. That's just evil on its own.
I've been
You
thinking
have
about him this
Kyrie-
morning.
You were thinking about Jason Kidd this morning?
Yeah, just like why it's worked so well with him there. I feel like he gave up on being idealistic with players.
Maybe he did. Maybe Sean Sweeney turned a corner and is not going to just call out his best defensive players every single freaking possession.
Yeah.
And you know how upsetting of a person you have to be to make Giannis Antetokounmpo start chewing you out in the middle of a play?
Pretty upsetting.
Yeah, one of the nicest people to ever exist. And then you just if you're Sean Sweeney, you can make him upset at the drop of a hat. So that's just evil, first and foremost. Up top with Jason Kidd, you have Kyrie Irving, who just I don't need to explain.
Yeah.
It's just I'm okay not seeing him succeed. And then that's basically it. But that's a lot.
Yeah, the kid part I don't like at all. I think it would be fitting if Luka won one because he really is that dude, as whiny as he can be. For all the annoyance of Kyrie and dangerous rhetoric that he has spread, I have enjoyed the Dallas Kyrie when he just doesn't. He's just like something about those two playing together. Like they've just both. It feels like gotten so much out of it. I saw somebody tweet the other day, Kyrie found the Euro LeBron and now he's all good again, which is very, very funny considering how much he wanted to get out of that shadow. And I wonder if the same thing will play out again with Luka at some point.
I hope so.
Kyrie is much older now, of course, but for now they're in position and they are just the whole team, I think, an extremely fun team to watch play. Like Kyrie and Luka just put on a show like every single game. So, and hopefully I actually think it could be a short series if Derek Lively misses significant time. I think he is really important to what they do. And I don't know if you saw the knee he took from Towns was nasty. So
it was not great.
Really, then there's a guy who is very easy to root for. Was going through tragedy ahead of the playoffs when he lost his mother, and everyone's like, was he even going to be able to play? And played awesome. He's played awesome the entire playoffs. Has really been like one of the rookie revelations of the season. I think he was not first team all rookie, I don't think. But I think if you held the voting post playoffs, he would easily be first team all rookie. I don't know. Is it position bound still?
Maybe.
I hope not. That's the one that should be the least. But he has certainly played at that level. I mean, he to me is like you just drop prime DeAndre Jordan into the NBA as a rookie, and he's maybe even better. Like he is really good and the exact kind of player the Bucks should be looking for.
I just Googled first team all rookie to make sure. He is not make it, by the way.
No, yeah.
And the first thing that popped up was ESPN's history of the all rookie first team.
Yeah.
And it just shows the all rookie first team throughout the years. It's a weird list because it says Jaime Jaquez Jr., position guard, team Miami Heat, Brandon Miller, position forward, team Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Pajemski, position guard, team null unknown. Chet Holmgren, position forward, team null unknown.
They're on the move. They're on the move.
Victor Wembanyama, position center, team San Antonio Spurs. So maybe
it was. So that was though 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
Yeah. It looks like it is still no, because it looks like it's 2 guards, 3 forwards at least.
Oh. But it would have been tough because Pajemski would clearly be the first guy out, and he's very clearly a guard.
Yes.
Anyway, Lively's been awesome, and on the Spurs side on the Celtics side of it, I was looking at the word Spurs when I'm looking at this all rookie team. Obviously, not going to argue with you on not wanting the Celtics to win. I never want the Celtics to win. I will say,
no.
Wouldn't be mad if Drew won.
Yeah, he's the one guy to.
They showed Drew after, and I was like, oh, that's real nice. And as we've discussed many times on this podcast, can't hate Jason Tatum. Makes it harder.
Yeah,
makes it harder to hate them. Who is the most hateable individual Celtic?
Jaylen Brown,
I guess.
I see. The thing is, it's almost worse than hating on individuals for Dallas, like Kidd, like Kyrie, because it's just the whole entity.
I know, but I feel like it's harder. I don't have hate for many of the specific players.
Al Horford.
Horford's burned me. Do I hate Al Horford though?
Yes.
Not really. I'm sick of him. I am that LeBron tweet, like LeBron's 35. He has to. That's been me with Horford for years too. I keep meaning to post a meme version of that. I keep forgetting, but like it's got to be over soon. It's got to be over soon. The piss just keeps getting hotter. Porzingis, I think, is hateable.
Yeah, but he's not even playing.
He's not even playing. If you hate Derrick White, you're a loser. Like he's like the perfect role player guard, and him and Drew both. Like they're collecting. They're gonna end up with Aaron Gordon too. They're just getting all of these guys somehow. I hate Pritchard. I hate Pritchard.
I was gonna say Pritchard, yeah.
But Pritchard's like barely. He's just there.
Sam Hauser. Milwaukee people can hate Sam Hauser.
Yeah, you can hate Sam. Again, though, these are like such irrelevant parts of their team. Like
they're
at least
part of the rotation.
Yeah, but like they're also. I don't think they're truly as hateable in an NBA context. Like when they had Blake, even when he barely played, much easier to hate.
Yeah,
I think Smart was easier to hate than anyone they have now.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's easy.
Ime. I hated Ime Udoka from day one. And I think Missoula kind of stinks, but I don't hate him. He's just weird.
Yeah. There's a bit about the town I have to tell you about off air.
Okay. Oh, boy.
But it's just, I think it's easier for me because I can just say, oh, I just hate Boston.
I do too. But I just mean, I'm bright-siding this. And I feel like my very positive feelings toward Drew and then slightly positive toward the rest of these players.
Let me give you something else. Do you want to deal with the headache of takes if Drew wins a title?
We already are. I don't care. I closed the app. If it gets stupid, that's my new strategy. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people. I saw John Henson tweeted the Bucks just gave away Drew Holiday. They got Dame. Like, no, I'm not going to do this.
No, not John Henson.
Yeah, like they gave him away. Like, what are you watching? So in John Henson's mind, they dumped Drew, and the trade was actually Grayson Allen and 2 picks for Dame.
Hey, that's one heck of a trade, John Horst.
Yeah, wow, it's getting even better. It's getting even better. That one transaction was really good. The Drew Holiday part.
He's just trying to root for that Pobo promotion that we still haven't seen.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. But no, I don't. I'm not going to factor that stuff in. I do always wish failure on Boston, and I would prefer if the West team won, even if it is the Mavericks. The kid thing is interesting. I still hate him more than anyone else we've said. He's done pretty well there, and I do feel like he's not aspirational anymore. I mean, kid Bucks, he was like, all right, I'm gonna make Brandon Knight my point guard. I'm gonna make Michael Carter Williams. I'm gonna make Giannis my point guard. Now he's just like, you know what? We got Luka. We went and got Kyrie. I don't need to mold these guys. Let me just focus on defense. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's still a terrible person.
Yeah, 100%. I just think it's a better fit for what he does as a coach.
That is fair.
He's probably in his mind has to like break down guys less because they're pretty much all vets.
Yeah. I mean, who are the young guys in the rotation? I mean, You got Lively. You got Jaden Hardy, Josh Green.
Yeah.
Who sometimes are factoring in. It was really funny in game 3. There were 2 possessions when Jaden Hardy got a switch with Gobert, tried to pass it to Luka. Luka's like, no, just do something. He's like, you've got Rudy Gobert on you. Do something.
I'm glad you brought this up. Why? I'm confused about I don't know, it's because people hate Gobert for whatever reason. Like, I saw this with Horford, too. Like, Nembhard gets the Horford switch and is able to get a pretty open mid-ranger. As he's cooking Horford. Is this not just, like, what 99.9% of bigs look like switched on to crafty guards?
Yeah. I think it's when they're lauded for a defensive reputation, though.
Yeah, but
I understand the disconnect. I do understand the disconnect.
It's silly. Like, it is. Jose Alvarado is guarding Giannis in the post. He's getting cooked. Like, yeah, of course he is.
That's second team all defense, Jose Alvarado, if you ever made that.
I think he did, actually. Did he?
I don't know.
He's certainly lauded as a good defender, and he's like probably the smallest guy who is. So it's an extreme example, but it's the same thing. Like, nobody would be like, "Oh wow, he couldn't guard Jokic in the post. He actually sucks at defense." But we do it the other way.
He is not.
No. Okay.
Or like you could say, let's see. I have the first team,
and you have to be careful because some of these guys are really like Drew is really good in the post, but still probably.
I was gonna say a lot of these guys I can't really like Caruso, like Herb Jones.
Herb Jones is bigger. I think, but even like Drew, if you had Jokic on Drew 8 feet from the basket, he's going to score.
Yeah.
Like, and again, it's not a great example with Jokic, but also it is. Jaden Hardy's not that guy. Drew is such a good all around defender. It's tough.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think a lot of I don't know. I think it's certainly been overblown quite a bit. I think Rudy,
I mean, I'm looking at this list though, but it's like guys like Jaren, like Bam.
Bam is probably the best guard defender.
He's the best switchable big in the league.
Yeah.
So that's just a tough. Wembanyama, like,
yeah,
it's tougher to make that argument.
It's a little tougher, but because I also think Cat's got to be loving this dialogue. Big purr.
Oh, Cat is loving this.
Big purr.
I mean, he's getting a pass because 1, Gobert is the target. 2, Anthony Edwards is just putting up tour dates, and he's just that third guy.
I think, is Gobert scoring more than Cat in this series?
I hope not.
I mean, I was watching the second half, and Gobert is like every other possession felt like he had an offensive rebound or a little layup, and I did not see Cat do anything. I would
be shocked if that was the case, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Cat's only scoring, 14 per game in this series?
I thought it was, yeah, maybe.
Let me pull up the basketball reference.
But, yeah, it's just difficult for guys to really.
Oh no, 15 to 12.3.
Yeah, but they're pretty similar.
Gobert has taken 22 shots. Cat has taken 54 shots, though.
Oh my god!
So 2.5 the shots for less than 3 more points per game. Not ideal.
That is horrendous.
Yeah. I think I'm no great Gobert defender, but I look at the guy and I kind of hate him as a person too. But I just think we're getting a little ridiculous with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Jaden Hardy doing it is a bad look.
It is a bad look. And it's you're seeing the Dallas players fully lean into it as well.
Yeah.
Like they're going to attack him every chance they get. They want to embarrass him. Like Luka has made it his personal mission to embarrass Rudy Gobert for some reason.
Does not like him. It has to be. There has to be history there. Like Euro basket. I don't know.
I don't know because he's doing it on both ends.
Yeah.
And
he hates Ant too, it seems like.
Yeah, but I think that's more of like a respect thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, he's the guy on their team, I'm the guy on this team, just sort of going at it. He has that classic picture of him leaning at the free throw line talking to him, and it's
Do you see people are saying don't put these in black and white or they're gonna have to cancel Luka? It's very funny. Do you think Ant regrets the Kyrie thing he said on national TV?
I don't even think he said anything bad. He said, that's my assignment.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Well, he ended up being wrong because they had to take him off of him.
They did, yeah.
It wasn't disrespectful.
I don't think he said anything that bad.
He's like, I'm excited. I don't know if he actually said anything like, I'm excited to lock him up. But he said, I'm excited about the assignment, but
yeah,
he shouldn't have been that excited.
That assignment was like, I took that personally.
That assignment is kicking his ass. I mean, that's what these guys do. They take everything personally.
Yeah, they're insane competitive athletes.
Yeah.
At the highest levels.
The absolute highest levels.
Eric Bledsoe made first team all defense in 2019.
There's a guy who couldn't even guard guards in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just realized there's someone missing from my data set. So I'm going to introduce the report that the Milwaukee Bucks. Do you have anything else on the finals?
No. Let's go to the second thing.
The Milwaukee Bucks tied for third or fourth favorite team to be James Harden's next team. So before I send this to you, I will note there is almost no way possible the Milwaukee Bucks could actually acquire James Harden unless he is signing for either a vet min or the mini MLE, which is like $5 million, like a very small number. He is a true free agent. There's no option he can opt into. And the sign and trade rules are you cannot take back a player in a sign and trade if it would leave you over the first salary cap apron, not the second, the one that the Bucks could duck under, the first apron.
Exactly. The Bucks are we're trying to figure out if the Bucks can make it under the second apron. They're obviously going to be over the first apron.
If they're under the first apron, something horrible happened.
Something has really gone bad.
Yeah, that's not.
It's like
ideal.
Giannis and Dame and Khris alone will put you at the first apron.
Yeah. So let's not root for that unless the NBA suddenly says we're actually jumping the cap by $50 million, which,
by the way, that's another thing. The newest TV deals are reportedly ready to be signed in the coming weeks, and that means we're going to see a lot of salary cap and increases. But due to the new collective bargaining agreement, there is going to be cap smoothing. It can only be raised by a maximum of 10% each year.
Oh, 10%.
So we're not. I believe it's 10%. We're not going to have another KD to the Warriors situation, another Mirza Teletovic to the Bucks situation, which is what people truly remember from that summer.
We won't have another Mozgov to the Hornets situation.
Mozgov and Deng.
Oh, what a haul. Mitch Kupchak going ape with that one.
So we likely won't have another rehashing of that. But yeah, that's going to be coming soon. Max salaries could reach close to $100 million a year, which is just
There's going to be a whole nother wave of people going, that's just not right.
I mean, I understand.
I understand too.
But also, I'd rather the money go to the players than the owners. But I do also understand the position of people should not be making that much money.
Yeah.
And I do empathize with both sides. Not to be a both sides guy.
I am a both sides guy, but not to be one. The Gyro Step is brought to you by Prize Picks. All GSPN Bucks podcasts are brought to you by Prize Picks, our presenting sponsor and America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members, where all you have to do is pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Playing on Prize Picks this basketball playoff season is the most simple way to get in on the action. It's also the most fun I've had, winning up to 100 times my money this basketball season. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. And this playoffs, the stars mean more on Prize Picks. Keep an eye out for starred players on the board, and you could receive a 10% payout boost if they're in your winning lineup. This week on Prize Picks, well, I'm getting ready for the finals next week on Prize Picks. Not gonna focus too much on the conference finals since there's maybe just one game left. But I am looking at Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving for their points and assists for Dallas, and the Celtics is kind of just a grab bag. But the way he's been playing, let's go with Jaylen Brown's points, rebounds, and assists.
Jaylen Brown more than Tatum. Eastern
Conference Finals MVP. The Larry Bird Trophy. Kind of funny it was a Celtics-Pacers series. But anyway, that's what we're looking at on Prize Picks. And even when the NBA is off or over, WNBA just started up, so you can get it on Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and other great WNBA rookies, and just other players, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, etc., on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code Eurostep for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code Eurostep on the Prize Picks app today, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
But James Harden, listed as the Bucks have the 4th best odds. This is just lunacy. It truly is. I don't know how these odds are made, but it's clearly made with some sort of information because that's how these things work. But I don't understand it. I mean, how? One, they, like you mentioned, they're not going to be able to sign and trade for him. So it's either a vet min or a mini MLE. And in what world is James Harden doing that?
To go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. So here are the teams. Number 1, Phoenix. Number 2.
Also stupid, by the way.
And this is also assuming he doesn't stay with the Clippers. I'm assuming the Clippers would be the top spot.
I would sure hope so.
So we have Phoenix. Then the Orlando Magic, which
I guess. I mean, at least they could do it.
Yeah,
I think.
Where's they have the cap space.
Yeah.
Where's Magic City at?
Oh wow.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he's gonna put it's in Atlanta, but he's gonna put the Magic City in Orlando.
Is Orlando close to Atlanta? Or am I tripping? Am I embarrassing myself right now?
I don't know.
Oh no. Oh,
I know. I don't remember where it is in Florida. It might not be that far.
Oh no.
I don't think it's helicopter
it's a
ride far.
6.5 hour drive.
I don't think Harden would be driving it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's not a bad flight.
That can't be a bad flight. It's less than 2 hour flight.
Yeah.
But yeah, Orlando is at least conceivable because of the location. Like, you're in Florida.
Yeah.
And 2, they have the cap space.
They can do a sign and trade as well.
Yeah. 3, the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't believe they have the ability to do that.
Depends what LeBron's doing.
That is true. If
they got
you're
a big
James
cap
Harden,
hold that could come off the books.
If you're James Harden, are you going to the Lakers if LeBron leaves? I mean,
it's still
AD's
LA.
still there. AD's
still
still there. Unless AD demands a trade, that'd be funny.
Harden, Reeves, Anthony Davis is like the funniest Lakers team ever.
It really is. And then you have the Bucks coming in 4th place, and it's just why? How? Why?
I saw a report that the Suns may draft Bronny, and they're super into getting LeBron too. And it's just like, you literally can't, dude.
Minimum contract, man.
I don't think Adam Silver would let him, and I don't think LeBron would ever do it either.
Yeah, why would LeBron sign for a minimum when he get like KD? When Bradley Beal is making $50 million, do you think LeBron can take a minimum on the same team?
There's also, it's a whole like, it's a big players, so like they don't want to set the precedent of guys taking way, way less, because it's obviously bad for the earning power of the league, and it's also just less money going to players overall. Like that's not going to be made up anywhere, right? That's just like $50 million less dollars going to NBA players. So yeah, I would be pretty shocked. The Suns are just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who's a free agent, these second apron teams just need to give up. Like, you're not anyone who's, again, role players maybe, but a star free agent.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for the Bucks. I mean,
I think the Suns are at the second apron with their 4 guys, aren't they?
I believe so.
Or maybe almost just their their 3. I mean, that's what, $150 million between 3 guys?
Yeah.
Like, what are you... Are you going to salary dump Kevin Durant?
Hey,
that would be bad because he'd be going to Philly.
Yeah, he would. That's really bad.
I guess maybe Orlando.
Is it that?
No,
bad?
That's bad. That's worse than Paul George for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's not the guy he used to be.
Neither are.
No. I think I'd be more worried about Paul George.
Really?
Is that a hot take?
I don't know. I feel like... No, maybe not. Kevin Durant's a worse third guy than Paul George.
Yeah,
he's a better first or second guy, but he's a worse third guy because he just does the same thing. He just does. It's no matter. He's just like, I'm just going to take a bunch of middies and not pass that much and not space the floor that much.
Is he supercharged Michael Porter Jr. at this point?
Wow. A little bit.
A little bit, right?
A little bit.
Katie, I hope you're not listening to this. Or I hope you are.
I'm sure he's going to tweet about it, but you won't know it's him. But anyway, yeah, the Harden thing is
Harden stuff, it's lunacy. It's absolute lunacy.
And this is not a report even. This is just like someone made a list of odds. Yeah.
And you have to take that in today's climate. You should take that.
Would I take Harden on a vet min? Yes.
Would I take Harden on a vet min? Absolutely. Would I take him on the mini MLE? Yeah.
Yes. Also, yes.
If you're looking for a shooting guard to slot in,
the last time they used one of these exceptions, it was Joe Ingles. It's pretty comparable players.
Was he? Yeah. No, yeah, he was.
Because they didn't use one last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're looking for a two guard to slot in, I know he does not help with what we've been preaching all summer about, like, you got to get faster, you got to get younger, you got to get more athletic. So throwing Jim
Sixth
Harden
man of the
in
year.
there.
Sixth man of the year. You could have the 6th and 8th men of the year.
Yeah, or the 18th, as you would say.
Yeah. And if Giannis wins MVP, then you have the 1st man of the year.
That is the 1st man of the year, yeah.
So a lot of men of the year you could have.
Yeah, that's true. But
But anyway, the quick guide to is it absolute BS if the Bucks are going to reportedly acquire a player or not? If they're a true free agent, so like LeBron, that they're not going to get LeBron, but could they, if LeBron opted into his deal, trade for LeBron? Like, could they functionally do that? Yes. If you have a player option, we saw this with Harden last summer. Like, if you want slightly more flexibility on where you go with all the cap rules as a player, you can opt in and demand a trade, and then a team can just send salary for you. And it's not a sign and trade. It's different. It's just you're basically an expiring contract, and then they could extend him later. So, like, players with options, they can do that. The Bucks could, at least theoretically. And again, I've said I don't think this is really a star hunting summer for them, but it is like just to know what's functionally possible. Someone opts in, they could trade for them. If they are just a true blue free agent like James Harden, I'm trying to think of any other players who are in this boat. Isaac Okoro, who I think would be like a really intriguing 3-and-D player to target. A true free agent. Like there's just Klay Thompson. There's just no real way.
Pascal Siakam.
Yes.
Gordon Hayward.
No. There is a way they could acquire Gordon Hayward. The vet min is suddenly very realistic, unfortunately.
Tobias Harris.
Probably not. Everyone's saying he's going to get overpaid by Detroit. If he gets like 12 to 16 million per year, 16 might be high. But he does stuff
I don't
half
even
the
think
time.
16 is terrible.
It's a little high given the way he just disappears, but
16 on Detroit, though? I don't think that's an overpay.
depends how long it is.
Yeah, like a 4-year deal, 16?
No, that's too high. That's too long.
Really? I don't know. 16 is not that much nowadays, man.
He's bad though. He's not good.
Okay, I was gonna say he's not active detriment.
He disappears way too often, and it's not like he was their second guy. He was like their fourth guy.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
16 over 4 for me. That's going to be a little onerous when you have to start paying Cade and these other guys.
That's true.
Give him 2 years 40 total before you do that, in my opinion.
I agree. I think that's a good value. Two for 40. I think that's a good deal for Detroit.
You can come be an adult.
Frasian Langdon.
Is that how you say that?
I think so. I don't know.
I didn't know if it was like Trahan.
Oh, I don't think so.
No, Trajan.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong.
Yeah. Thought it was a good hire. Thought the same about Troy Weaver, so I guess we'll see. That's pretty much all my exec hire. Unless it's a retread, I'm just like, yeah, it sounds good. He worked smart places.
Yeah. Tim Conway should have built a team to beat more than one team. We do have one more bit of news.
What's that?
RIP to Bill Walton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
very
big sad. Yeah.
Very sad. Legendary career, legendary broadcaster. Will be missed.
100%. Pioneer of the game.
Absolutely. Pioneer in real life, too.
Yeah. It's a great point. Awesome guy.
Yeah, will be missed. Went with the Pac-12.
Good call. Wow.
No, like he's literally outlived the Pac-12 by one day.
That's crazy.
He's like, the Pac. I will not go on without the Pac-12.
He won 2 rings then?
He won 2 rings, one MVP, one Finals MVP.
One with Portland, one with Boston. Winning a ring in Portland is tough, man.
As the best guy.
Yeah.
Top 75 guy for a reason.
They were so excited about it. I think like almost 10 guys from that team have their numbers retired in Portland.
As they should.
Which is always what I bring up when people yell at me about the Pat Connaughton case.
Yeah, as they should. You never know when these things come along. You never know when you're...
I'd rather have Pat C than Frank Winters immortalized, is all I'm saying. Sorry, Frank Winters. He's never coming on the pod.
I thought you said Brian Winters for a second.
Oh, I meant Brian Winters. Frank Winters is that anyone or is that just a name I made
I don't know. I thought it was like a Portland.
No, I don't know who that is.
He is a former NFL
Yes, player. Frankie Bag of Donuts.
What?
That's what my dad called him. I don't know if that's his real name. He's a Packer. He sucked. Yeah, right here.
Browns, Giants, Chiefs, and Packers.
He played in the Pro Bowl. Oh, no, he didn't suck. He was in the Pro Bowl, was an All-Pro. His nickname was Frankie Bag of Donuts or Old Bag of Donuts.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He got an internship with the Colts in 2009.
An internship?
Yeah.
To do what?
I don't know. Man wanted to broaden his horizons a little bit. Relax.
I mean, fair enough. Frankie Bag of Donuts is crazy.
Frankie Bag. See, we don't have good nicknames anymore. It's all just like, oh, we share a
Apparently that's a
birthday.
John
I share a
Madden
birthday.
nickname.
I share a birthday with Frankie Bag of Donuts.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Ah.
No, but John Madden gave the Frankie Bag of Donuts.
See, that's why we're missing guys who just throw out. Marcus tries.
He does.
But like back in the old days, yeah, they would like. I mean, the nicknames aren't long enough.
No.
The round mound of rebound?
Who?
That was one of the Barkley nicknames.
Oh, okay.
Also, flying Coke machine, which is a little more problematic if you really think about it. But anyway.
I don't think you have to really think about it. I think you just need to think about it for a second.
It took me years to get that.
Oh.
Right? He just used soda.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. It's problematic because he was a bigger guy. He drank too much soda. That's all. Allegedly.
But yeah, RIP to Bill Walton. We'll be missed.
Okay, the Derrick Jones Jr. matrix.
Yes, let's do it.
So here's what I've compiled. I've got 17 players so far. I'll continue adding. There is an 18th, so there's a control. So these are the stats I looked at. And I wish I had better data. I think up front, one of the biggest limitations here is there are just not many good statistics for athleticism publicly available for all players. I do have the average speed in miles per hour when these players are on the court, which is, again, it's fuzzy. I mean, some of it can depend on role. Some of it can depend on, I'd probably say it lightly minutes too, because the less you play, the more you can run in all your minutes, but it's something. So I have average speed, height, wingspan, and average three-point percentage over the last 2 seasons. I didn't do that for the speed, but I wanted for three-point to have a little bit more of a control to make sure the sample size didn't get too inflated one way or the other. So Derrick Jones Jr., who is going to be an unrestricted free agent, who had just made $2.7 million. He is going to get a big raise. He is almost certainly going to be starting in a finals in 10 days, 9 days. We have to wait forever.
June 6th is the first day of the finals.
Yeah, geez. Come on. Like, it's going to be it's going to be pretty anticlimactic unless the Wolves do a Celtics from last year. But, no, was it vice versa? No, the Heat were up 3-0,
yeah,
right?
You're right. Don't doubt yourself.
But Derrick Jones Jr., so over the last 2 seasons, regular seasons only, shot 34.2% from 3. So for this list, he ended up being, I color-coded, green is the top in each category, yellow is the middle, red is the bottom. Derrick Jones Jr. ended up in the yellow on 3 out of the 4, ended up green on wingspan because he's just got a really long wingspan. So he is not the ideal platonic Derrick Jones Jr. player, which is kind of funny.
It's so funny that Derrick Jones Jr. is not the ideal Derrick Jones Jr.
And again, just according to data, I think he's probably better than a lot of the players who.
I think that honestly helps your case.
Yeah.
Because there's the ability to really do you look at Derrick Jones? I can't say it now. Derrick Jones Jr.
Tough.
Apologies.
DJJ.
Apologies, DJJ. Now I'm just messing everything up.
Airplane mode.
Yeah,
that's a good nickname.
That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of now when John Collins put on that the flight guy and barely cleared an airplane in the dunk contest. I
forgot about that.
At least he tried. I'll give him that. He tried to make it a spectacle. But the fact that you can watch Derrick Jones Jr. right now, he's going to be a starter on a finals day. Oh, we got a Sophie sighting.
She runs in here. I close the door and she can open it. She bashes it with her head and it just opens. I don't have a very good door.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sophie's numbers don't really compare here. But just real quick, 0% from 3. Definitely less than in the 4s on miles per hour. Actually, maybe on speed you do okay. Yeah. Height and wingspan, like 1 foot and even less. I mean, you have a negative wingspan, Sophie. Okay.
The YouTube viewers are getting a good show here.
Yeah. Scouting report.
Always love Sophie on the pod. But yeah, Derrick Jones Jr., you watch him starting for this team and you think, yeah, he's a player that could help the Bucks, but you're more looking for that archetype of player, not necessarily the player itself. So I think that lends itself well to this matrix we're about to discuss.
Exactly. So the in between 33 and 37% ended up being the yellow. So that's where Derrick Jones Jr. actually sits on this list. He is, I think, 8th out of 17. So pretty much right in the middle. Then for average speed, and this is in miles per hour, and I took both the offense and defense combined number they have, not wanting to separate, because I think there can be a bit of variance between them, so the average was good. Derrick Jones Jr. was actually on the low end of the yellow here. His average speed was 4.32 miles per hour. For reference, I included Brook Lopez just on average speed. He is at 3.8 miles per hour, which isn't that much slower, but is the slowest. There's none of these players are any slower than that. Everyone else is between 4.05 and 4.8. So 4.32 is the low end of the middle. Everything between 4.3 and 4.4, which is about a third of the list, is yellow. So that's where Derrick Jones Jr. is there. Then on height, he is 6'6". That is also the yellow. 6'5" and 6'6" is yellow. Anything below 6'5" is red. And then 6'7" and above is green. So those are his three kind of middle of the road metrics. And then wingspan is 7 foot, which is quite long. That's green. Green is 7 foot and above. Yellow is 6'9" to between 6'9" and 7. And then anything below 6'9" is red. So I can throw out some players here and kind of go over their rankings in these categories, or at least where their color grades. Let me start with some of the kind of surprise ones who ended up with multiple greens. And again, I think this is carrying off what we talked about last week, which is like, do you need great defenders? Do you need guys who are known as great defenders, or can you just get by with like locked in athletes? Which I think is. The Mavs are testing this theory.
Scheme over personnel. I love that.
Scheme and just like traits.
Scheme and attributes over like true defensive stoppers.
Exactly. So a surprise one here with 3 out of 4 greens. A player we have not liked very much. Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins. Okay.
So, another thing. So I didn't include, I think Nembhard and Nesmith would have been on here. I didn't include guys I didn't think the Bucks could really trade for or sign. So it's a list of free agents and veterans on contracts who I felt were at least sort of available. And then I added some just for comparison's sake as well for other active players that they probably couldn't get either. Just a heads up. But Wiggins, 37.6% from 3. As much as he's felt like an underwhelming three-point shooter, that is actually third best on this list. And again, I think it's
a good percentage.
It's not bad, and I think for this kind of player, Derrick Jones Jr. 34.2, his teammate PJ Washington 33.4. These guys who are excelling at this 3-and-D role in the playoffs do not have a track record as excellent three-point shooters. So Wiggins' worst thing out of these 4 core stats is actually his average speed, which kind of tracks given how much would you say space case?
Sure.
Is that harsh?
No. I mean, maybe.
We'll just say not all the time locked in, which isn't great considering he's been on the Warriors. 4.21 miles per hour average.
We do not know the reason why he's missed so much time due to.
No, but even just outside of missing time,
for sure.
Even
I just want to make sure we're not saying that.
No. Yeah, I just mean his actual play. Even just this last season. This is not 2 years. This is just this last season for speed. He's third worst. Only PJ Washington is actually one of the ones below him, and then a player that we'll talk about is also worse besides Brook Lopez, who a lot of Bucks fans actually want this player, so that's interesting. But Wiggins 6'7" is a good height on here and does have the 7-foot wingspan, which is one of the big criteria here. Before we go any further, even before we talk about Wiggins, what do you think about these 4 stats?
I think it's a good way to look at these players in the aggregate, right?
Yeah.
You're just taking some athleticism stats plus some measurables, and that's really how you look at a player archetype. So I do like the methodology. I
think what I will add before I publish is I think average attempted threes per game or maybe per minute would be helpful too, just to give you a better idea on shooting. But for now, this will work. I also think the wingspan is sneakily really, really important for what the Bucks specific, or what we're looking for the Bucks. So I think that's going to be really relevant too. So Wiggins rates out quite well here with 3 greens and 1 red.
No, I do think Andrew Wiggins is a player who would fit really well with the Bucks, just given like all you mentioned. He's a guy who can shoot, who has been like proven that he can be he was the second best player on a title winning team
Somehow.
which is insane against the Boston Celtics. So that's a massive, that's in favor of the Mavs, I will say. You know, just you got to get some good wing play, Dallas. Sorry, I'm still thinking about this.
I know.
The one thing is just the contract, right?
3 years remaining, 28.2 million average annual value. So that is the heftiest contract on this list, which is probably a pro for acquiring him. I mean, it's going to be outside. You have to find the money, but outside of that, it's easier. The Bucks have to be out of the second apron to get him, though.
Yes, because
otherwise you can't aggregate salaries, and then it would have to be one of your big three players,
which is just not happening.
And the Warriors, they wouldn't matter for this case, but they couldn't. You'd probably need to come in at or below his number if they're going to be a second apron team.
Yeah.
Well, I realized this when I did a pod with the Timeline guys about Bud. It's pretty much impossible for two second apron teams to trade. Yeah, because they both need to trade one for one, and they need to exactly match the dollars. So unless you have two players making the exact same amount, you can't do a trade.
Yeah, that is
which is pretty crazy.
There's only going to be like a handful of second apron teams, though, and they're all going to be theoretically contenders, and contenders don't usually trade with each other. But
they don't. But it's just an interesting
it is funny
thought experiment. Like if the Bucks stayed over, like the Brook Lopez ideal to Phoenix, they'd have to have someone making exactly, which they don't, exactly the same.
No, that's true. That is very true.
Okay. You ready for another three? There's only a couple 3 green players. There's 2 more.
Okay, let's see it.
This one was actually pretty surprising. Torrey Craig.
Okay.
Torrey Craig has a player option. I think a vet min player option. So probably a pretty good chance he declines it. $2.8 million. Shot 39.4% over the last 2 seasons. Second best on the list. Very close to the top spot on the list. 4.54 miles per hour. That's a green as well. That is only, let's see, only 2 players were actually higher than that in terms of average speed. So when he's out there, although he's probably one of the older guys on this list, Torrey Craig is schmoving. The 6'7" height is also a green. Again, it's not amazing height, but for this archetype, for this list of guys, it's pretty good. Only I think 2 are taller than 6'7". The wingspan is what holds him back. It's actually a red. He's only got a 6'8" wingspan. So that is, I would say, a concern. I mean, that is very small. I think that is, I have a couple guards on here, but even some of the guards have a higher wingspan than that. So that's the big concern. But I think a guy who will almost certainly be available again for vet min. I mean, given the rest of these numbers, I think that's a good flyer. I know it didn't work out last time with the Bucks.
Hey, you could spin that into a positive and say he's already familiar with Milwaukee.
Yeah, he's familiar with the city, and there's a new coaching staff now, which as we saw with Crowder.
Do we know if he got a ring?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
We could ask him if he comes back.
Yeah.
And he does our pod. He should do our podcast.
He should.
But yeah, Torrey Craig, he should do both. The 39% jumped out. He's really gotten that number together.
That's not something that you would think about when you think about Torrey Craig the last couple of seasons. I mean, maybe just being in a Billy Donovan offense will help you out with that. I said that as a joke. Because that's just funny. After being in a Bud offense, and then who was he with Amani Williams? Yeah. Billy Donovan fixed him somehow.
Dilly
Bonovan, Florida's. He's a Florida guy, right?
Yeah, I think he won there
with that Al Horford, Joakim Noah.
That might have been him.
Maybe.
I'll look it up.
But shout out University of Florida, I guess. But
sure. William John Donovan Jr.
William John Donovan Jr.
Oh yeah, that was him. He coached there from 96 to 2015.
Sheesh.
Wow. And won back-to-back titles.
He looks good. How old is he?
He is 58.
He looks good for 58.
I think he's actually a pretty solid coach.
Sure. Let's leave it at that. It looks good for 58, I'll say that. But yeah, Torrey Craig, I mean, you're talking about a guy, like you mentioned, who just flies under the radar, and you wouldn't really assume he has those shooting numbers because he's not a guy who traditionally has shot the ball a lot. But if you're able to really get that number up, I mean, the percentage is there.
Yeah.
And he's a versatile defender, like 6'7", 6'8" wingspan. I know 6'8" wingspan isn't great, but it's enough almost. If you want to switch like maybe 1 through 3 or 4, you could do that.
To me, he feels like does he have the starter upside of a Wiggins or a DJJ? I would probably think no, but I think it would be a great just more of these options. I mean, could he be a realized version of what the Bucks wanted from Jay Crowder, just coming off the bench? Maybe. Do you want to try and name a player and see if I have them on here?
Ooh, okay. So I should think
there's a couple guards. They're almost all wings. I didn't do Dennis Smith Jr., who I should have. So I'll give you that. He's not on here.
Okay. Are they free agents?
Some are under contract.
Okay.
Most I think are under contract. There is another vet min guy who did really well from the Bulls, ironically enough. And there's a couple option guys who probably will be free agents.
A vet min option from the Bulls?
Javonte Green.
Dude, okay.
So underrated. A little undersized. 37% last 2 years. He only got signed super late last season, but the year before he played a lot. 4.41 miles per hour is a green. 6.5 height is a yellow. He's just below green height, though. 6'10 wingspan for Javonte Green, which makes sense because he's always played as a 4. I actually would really like that flyer.
I mean, he's a younger player, too.
I don't think he is.
I mean, he's younger than Torrey Craig.
Is he?
I'd hope so.
He's 30.
So he is younger than Torrey Craig.
Is Torrey Craig like 31?
33.
33, damn. Yeah. Okay.
So he's a little younger. I mean,
I should add age to this too.
Maybe. But yeah, Javonte Green, he's technically on that Giannis timeline. Just a little older.
Not many miles.
No. So he's not like a burned out vet.
It's not a Tibbs 30.
No, it's not a Tibbs 30. It's more of a John Horst 30 because he only drafts guys who 4-year guys out of college.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and it just hasn't played a ton in his NBA career either. But yeah, for sure.
Also, definitely a John Horst 30.
Yeah. I know.
But yeah, he's a guy who's he's versatile. I like the versatility there. Like you mentioned, not a ton of miles, and he jumps out at you in terms of like he's got some athleticism. He's got the ability to space out and stretch. He's got the ability to switch. I mean, I think he might just be like a little older version of current Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, he's never had that level of success. But I feel like he's never had that. Jr. Yeah, he's never really had that opportunity. I'm pretty high on Javonte Green personally.
Okay, that's fair. He's another one of your guys.
Yeah. I don't love everyone on the list. I like Javonte. I think I like Javonte Green a little more than Torrey Craig.
I think I would say that too.
Even though the metrics have Craig is a little better, except for wingspan, have Craig is better.
No, what's the wingspan on Javonte again?
6'10".
6'10", yeah, that'll play.
6'5" with 6'10". So that's why it's like 6'5" with a 6'10" wingspan is almost better than 6'7" with a 6'8" wingspan. Maybe it is better.
I think it might be. And hey, if you're Javonte, you really love Chicago, you've been there. Milwaukee's close enough, man. Hiawatha's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take the train. Easy. It's an easy drive.
It's a very easy drive.
I do it a lot. It's an easy drive.
Absolutely. So yeah, we can add the Chicago guys. Do you want to try and guess one? There is a restricted free agent, an unrestricted free agent, and then a lot of player options, and then guys under contract.
Restricted free agent.
I don't know if it's a player you would guess.
Are they from the Bulls?
No, I think we're done with Bulls now. Thankfully.
Oh, I was gonna say like Pat Will. Like,
oh yeah, I figured not attainable.
No, not attainable. Yeah. I don't think he's attainable. Are they an Atlanta Hawk?
There is a Hawk, at least one Hawk on here.
Is it a restricted free agent from the Hawks?
No. Okay. The restricted free agent is from Miami.
From Miami?
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't think it's a player you would guess. It's a player I've had a soft spot for quite a while.
A restricted free agent from the Miami Heat? I'm trying to think. Who even... Wait, just... Okay, who is it?
It is Haywood Highsmith.
Haywood Highsmith.
Haywood Highsmith. Thankfully, as much as I like him, rated out well in my DJJ matrix. So 37.5% from three the last 2 years. Green, fourth highest on the list. 4.57 miles per hour is second on the list. So he's moved very fast, which makes sense for the
free
Heat.
agent, by the way.
He's not restricted?
No.
I thought Spotrac said restricted.
He's
unrestricted?
Unrestricted.
Oh, I don't know what I was looking. So unrestricted. That's even better. 6'5" height, which is shocking to me, mostly because he has a 6'11.5" wingspan. So one of the bigger wings, just below Green. There's not one of the bigger. There's a lot of 7-footers, but like right there with the top of the list there. So he is technically 2 greens on the shooting and speed and 2 yellows on the height and the wingspan, but he's pretty close on both. I really like Haywood Highsmith. I think he has a big upside. I
think so too. Honestly, I've made jokes a lot of jokes about Haywood Highsmith, and rightfully so. I've got to get my jokes off.
Yeah.
But just watching him play, watching him rise to the level in postseason play consistently is just something where you're like, yeah, this is a guy who's, an undrafted guy. He is an undrafted guy, I believe, right? I'm not crazy.
Either or very low drafted, but I think he is
not
undrafted.
A highly touted player coming in, to say the least. And just being able to come in and make an impact immediately and just develop in that heat culture, for as much as it's maligned for good reason, just being able to go and do that. Or is that a detriment? Because the guys who go out, who are successful in Miami, then go out, don't usually pan out, though.
I don't know. I think Strus had a pretty good year.
That is true. I think Max Strus did break the mold. I think Gabe Vincent was just hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt all year, which was unfortunate.
So maybe it is a trend that isn't really found out to be super accurate.
Yeah,
but I do think Haywood Highsmith, he has that athleticism, as you mentioned. He's a bigger guy. He's got that rangy wingspan type player. He's got the burst. He's got the vertical. Yeah, that's an intriguing one.
I've seen him pick the pocket of like the Jays, at least one of them in a playoff series before. Like I feel like I've seen him apply that wingspan more than some of the other guys on this list on the defensive end in the way we're seeing PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. do it. Like I think if the Bucks got Haywood Highsmith on, whether it's a vet min or it's a mini MLE, I would be ecstatic. Like I think that is, in terms of free agents, probably one of the best guys you could get to try and fit this mold.
No, and the fact that he's not restricted makes it even better, assuming Spotrac is accurate here.
Yeah, I'm sure Spotrac's usually the best. So I don't know where I got restricted, but that's even better.
So yeah, I mean it says he signed a 3-year deal back in 2021 as part of the non-taxpayer MLE. So I think he's just unrestricted.
Let's see. Yeah, because I think if he has 4 years of service, he for sure would be. It gets weird with the undrafted guys where it's like he's got 4, so I would think he is probably non-restricted. Or no, 4 could be restricted.
It seems, I don't know. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. It does say UFA on Spotrac though.
So let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But no, Haywood Highsmith is a very intriguing guy. I mean, he's another one of your guys that you've had on your list for a while. Which is,
I've liked Haywood for quite a while.
It's funny, we've gone through like 4 players here, and 2 of them have been your guys. So I think there's a lot of confirmation bias going.
The data's working out for me. That's how I would describe it.
That's how someone would describe confirmation bias as well.
I don't know about that. I had Wiggins on here.
I know. I'm just playing. But no, Haywood Highsmith, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Not someone I was thinking about.
Here's one of my guys who didn't work out on this list.
Bismack Biyombo.
No, Khris Dunn. Unrestricted free agent. Too small. The wingspan and the speed wasn't great. He was number 1 on the 3-point shooting of all the players I considered. 39.5% the last 2 years, which is kind of funny because I feel like not really a guy anyone thinks of as a shooter. The speed wasn't great. 4.37 miles per hour is a low yellow on that, or medium yellow. But yeah, 6'4" is red. And then actually, this is the one I laughed with Craig. 6'9" wingspan makes him a yellow. So that does make up for it quite a bit, actually. But I still think a guy, you probably don't want Khris Dunn guarding Jason Tatum, right? Like, he can guard guards and even bigger guards, but not super rangy. 6'4", 6'9" is pretty small. He is the There's two other 6'4" guys, but there's only one guy actually shorter than that. I'll just say it's Davion Mitchell. I threw him on here just to see, and the speed was good, but he's less than 6'2" with a less than 6'5" wingspan. Just not what the Bucks are looking for.
No, not in this regard. How about that?
Yeah,
I still think that backup point guard position is up for grabs, especially if there's no Pat Bev.
We'll see on that one.
We shall see for sure. But yeah, so Khris Dunn. I think Khris Dunn and you mentioned earlier Dennis Smith Jr. I think these are two guys who might not necessarily fit that mold, but are still valuable players. Maybe we have to do a Pat Bev matrix.
Yeah. I do think this should be the primary. I don't know, actually, if this should be the number one.
I do think it should be. I do think
But do you need a mobile big the most? The Isaiah Jackson matrix.
No,
I'm making that next. I'm making that next.
We're done.
You can't stop me from making a matrix.
We're done.
I can publish to the Substack myself. I'm going to put out the Isaiah Jackson.
It's just
going to be Isaiah Jackson.
But
I'm going to make an acronym.
Did you watch him kick a guy in the head yesterday?
That was bad. Not on purpose.
It's not the first time he's done that.
When you're moving that fast and you're that big.
Why are you kicking your leg up like that?
He shouldn't do that.
No, that is the second. I think it was he did it to someone on the Wolves like last year.
Yeah.
Someone brought up the video. I was like, this is Ty's guy right here. Just a face kicker. Yeah. I'm done with Isaiah Jackson.
I can't quit.
What stood out to you about Isaiah Jackson in these Eastern Conference Finals?
Hasn't had a good Eastern Conference Finals.
What stood out to you about Isaiah Jackson in the Eastern Conference semifinals?
It's more about when I've seen him play the Bucks, which is what you should not do when you're scouting a player. He has not gotten to play very much, but he's very athletic.
Jalen Smith has gotten gotten some opportunities because Isaiah Jackson has been not great.
I think it's a spacing thing, but yeah, he has.
No.
Okay. Anyway, enough. We won't do Isaiah. I'm going to save that one for later.
Ooh.
DeAndre Hunter. A lot of people like DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, Hawks guy. I mean, we've seen the defense.
Second most expensive player on the list.
Yes, we've seen the defense up front. And first, if you're the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously from that Eastern Conference Finals, you get to see what a guy like DeAndre Hunter can do, and the upside is definitely there. It's there for sure. And the problem is that we haven't seen it a little too much the last couple of seasons.
Injuries are a big problem there.
For sure.
Which is not captured here. Also, I don't know if this is just like the Hawks of it all. His average speed is second lowest on the list and scarily close to Brook Lopez. 4.05 miles per hour on average. Again, Brook is 3.8. There are players that are near 5. So he is farther from number 1 on this list than Brook Lopez is from him, which I don't love. 36.8% from 3 is actually just a yellow too. So we're gotten through almost all the green shooters now. But he does have a 6'7" height, 7'2" wingspan. Is second on this list. He is very, very long in that sense. The only player with a bigger wingspan, and again, he's not obtainable. Just for reference, PJ Washington, who's 6'7" with allegedly a 7 foot 2.5 inch wingspan.
You know what? I believe that.
Yeah, I do too. But again, DeAndre Hunter's almost there. DeAndre Hunter's almost there. 7'2".
DeAndre, like that is the type of measurables that jump out.
Yeah.
Right? Where you see a guy who just has a massive plus wingspan, and you can see the defensive tools are there. We've seen him play at a high defensive level. Maybe just the Hawks situation was bad for him.
Maybe.
And you know what? Fair enough. That Hawks situation does not look great.
Yeah.
If a guy can go from the Charlotte Hornets and be a key contributor to a finals team, anything can happen, you know?
I mean, you could certainly go from the Hawks to be one.
Exactly. So if you can go from the Hornets to be one, you can go from the Hawks to be one.
And Brook Lopez. Oh, wait. Are they tradable?
What?
It's really close, the salaries of Brook Lopez and DeAndre Hunter.
They are very close. DeAndre Hunter's making 21.7.
Yeah, they could do straight up. Brook is making 23 next season.
That's a straight up trade. I mean, would the Hawks do that? Who knows?
No one knows. No one ever knows.
Brook Lopez and 2 picks, 2 top 33 picks.
Could be a three-way deal too.
Yeah, I mean, Bucks have 2 top 33 picks in the arsenal this year.
Yeah,
that's got to be
the
valuable.
Injury concern is just such a big deal, though.
It really is.
You don't want to get a guy who's not going to, because then you're just out everything. So that's, I think, the biggest flag there. And the speed isn't great, but I attribute a lot of that to the Hawks of it all. I don't think he's a bad athlete. I think there's probably just a lot of standing around when you're on that team.
For sure. When you have 2 ball-dominant guards who want to dominate the ball, you tend to do a lot of standing around. Offense gets set up slow. That's how it works.
Yeah. A player who I was actually high on for a while, but unfortunately got scooped up on a 2-year deal late last season, Darius Bazley.
Oh, Darius Bazley.
36.1% from 3, which again is higher than the actual Derrick Jones Jr. The 4.36 average miles per hour is not great, but again, higher than DJJ. 6'9", height, 7-foot wingspan are both greens, though. So it's like the shooting and the speed are just okay, according to these metrics, but the frame is for sure there. He's a big guy, and I think he moves pretty well. Like, I'm not too worried about his athleticism. For some players, it'd probably be an issue, but yeah, an exciting guy, but probably not. I mean,
it could be attainable.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible. The Jazz signed him to a 2+ remainder of last season year deal, basically a long vet min deal.
It's a bit higher than vet min considering he's only 23.
Yeah,
about to be 24, June 12th.
I have it as 2.6 million average annual, so it's pretty low.
That is low, but I think that's higher than a vet min for him.
He's got like 4 years of service,
maybe.
He's been in the league for a while. It's whatever. It's a very cheap deal.
Yeah. Happy early birthday, Darius Bazley.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll put it next to this. So MarJon Beauchamp makes $3.8 million per year, and I have that number accessible because they are right next to each other in almost all of these metrics.
Oh.
So MarJon 35.5 from 3 compared to 36 for Bazley. Moved a little quicker, 4.39 to 4.36. 6'7", he's a little shorter. Actually, according to and the wingspan on this, I will add another note. Like, there's not one clear source for all players because some of these guys weren't at the combine and some of the combine data is missing. But according to multiple reports is what I did. I just kind of searched around. MarJon actually is nearly a 7'1" wingspan. So despite being shorter than Bazley, he is longer.
Okay.
More MarJon hype here. This is 2 yellows, 2 greens. Rates out pretty well on this list. And again, he's held back by the fact that I did 2-season 3-point percentage. Just last season, I think he shot 40%. So would have been number 1 on that number, but I didn't want to just take that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, rated out better than Derrick Jones Jr. in every stat on the Derrick Jones Jr. matrix.
You love to see that, honestly. You truly love to see that. And that just feeds right into my agendas.
It does. And I was saving this one. One of the better ranking players on the list is Andre Jackson Jr.
Hey, okay.
37%
Who needs Derrick Jones Jr.? We had Derrick Jones Jr. at home.
Twice.
We have 2 Derrick Jones Jr.'s at home.
I couldn't even do Khris Livingston, but I imagine he could rate out here too. 37% from 3. This is just last season because he was a rookie. So that's a questionable number. 4.81 average speed is number 1 by a mile on this list. Like, nobody was really close to how fast he moved. 6'6" is yellow. Just under 6'10" wingspan is also a yellow. So not rating out green there, but we know he has functional size and athleticism. But yeah, the Bucks' 2 young guys who play outside of AJ Green being on here, I thought was pretty interesting.
That is music to my ears, Ty. You have no idea how.
Yeah.
That just made me feel really good about the young core of this team. And
there's guys that fit. Like, the Bucks don't need to sign 3 of these players. They probably, I would say, 1 good one, and you'd feel pretty good about the athleticism in the rotation if MarJon plays.
For sure. Like, you have these guys available to you on cheap deals already on the team. So yeah, I do think I agree with you. Just being able to get 1 additional guy, because you can't have too many of these guys, in my opinion. And if you have a lot, you can just cut one of them.
Yeah, or just to send them away. I mean, they're going to be all pretty cheap players.
And players that teams want to acquire. Who wouldn't want to trade for a Derrick Jones Jr. right now? Who wouldn't want to trade for a Haywood Highsmith right now on those contracts? Like, you could get an asset out of it, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's amazing to hear. MarJon's on that list. Andre Jackson Jr. also very high on that list. And that's That fits. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Like that never crossed my mind when you were so very
I'm
very
glad.
well
I'm glad. Yeah, I was trying to play it up a little bit.
very
He
well
was
done,
like,
Ty. Very
I
well
kept
done.
having to be like, oh, he's like the second fastest. I was like, oh, the fastest is Ajax. I won't say it yet. I won't say it yet.
Very, very,
I
very well
snuck,
done.
in addition to Brooks' slow speed, I snuck those guys on the list too. Then we have all that's left is 5 players who are poor shooters. So I haven't covered any of the 5 reds on shooting. So we can dip through these a little quickly. So these are below 33%. So in context, PJ Washington, who had some great shooting games, 33.4% the last 2 years. So there's a little more than just the percentage that matters here. But that said, these guys are all worse. So the worst player on the list, reds in every metric, and this is some of these guys I found by looking through the metrics. Some of them I found by just like who's available, who's been in trade rumors. And I just added them too. Jae'Sean Tate, team option for $7 million next year. The lowest 3-point percentage on the list, 29.3.
Sheesh.
A red speed, 4.29 miles per hour is again one of the lowest on the list, which that's a little bit of a cloudier metric, but it is low. 6'4" height is red, 6'8" wingspan is red. So small, has not shown to be as quick, at least according to this. And again, I think that's probably the one that's most subject to be off. I think he is regarded as a good defender, but he's not super long, he's not super big, and he's not shot the ball well. I wouldn't trade $7.1 million worth of contracts for him.
It would have been great like 2 years ago.
On vet min, maybe, but yeah, he's been the one who rates the lowest.
And that's understandable. Like I mentioned, 2 years ago, the hype was there. He was playing really well, and he was younger, and he kind of hasn't grown as a player since then.
He's lost ground in a lot of these young guys. He's kind of just buried there. It wouldn't surprise me if they declined the option, unless they wanted to trade him. Yeah. Here's a fun one. Jalen McDaniels.
Jalen McDaniels, yeah.
McDaniels.
Vando McDaniels.
Why did I put Jared Vanderbilt on here?
I don't know.
I should have. I forgot he existed.
Jalen McDaniels, we had talked about last week. Just a guy.
I knew this when I brought him up then, by the way. So he's been on my mind a little bit. Yeah.
Like you're telling a story. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to maybe catch some of the magic of his brother Jaden, who's still playing well for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, had some huge offensive games, and he's been a better shooter than Jalen for a while. I wouldn't expect Jalen to have that kind of offensive. He's been a better overall
player than Jalen for a while.
For sure.
But just being able to capture that archetype of player, Jalen McDaniels fits that mold. I mean, he's a pretty young guy as well. Just being able to get into that system, like that's why Philly was able to take a flyer on him and just say, hey, can we make this happen? Because you trust in that sort of body type and play style, and you really, really want to be able to say, hey, maybe you can be somewhat of your brother. I mean, the Bucks have tried that before with the Brooke and Robin Lopez type thing. Yeah. But it is. I think it's possible. I don't think Jalen will ever be as good as Jaden McDaniels, but if you're able to capture just like, hey, can you go out there and be a rangy wing who will shoot some threes? Can you be an actual 3-and-D guy? I think he could.
I don't know if he'll ever get the 3. He is expiring at $4.7 million next year, still on the Raptors. They signed him to a 2-year deal. So you'd have to trade with Toronto. I have no idea how much they value him. I don't think they played him a whole lot. Like they're rebuilding. I don't think this is the type of player that they're really excited about having, like a true, I think upside is a role player, not a player who's going to be a star. 29.4% from 3 last 2 years, which is just above Jae'Sean Tate for worst on the list. But he is one of very few, the 2 players with 3 greens. So everything except for the shooting is exceptional. 4.41 miles per hour is great. 6'9" height is the tallest player on this list, or tied with Baisley for the tallest player on this list, and has a 7-foot wingspan. So the frame and the athleticism are there. The shooting is a huge question with McDaniels, but now that you have Dame, can you work around that? Maybe. I think it'd be a very intriguing flyer who checks all the boxes except shooting.
Oh, for sure. And do you trust your system enough to be able to? I mean, you don't have your shot doctor anymore in Josh Oppenheimer. So
thank God. then maybe he has a chance.
I'll tell you what, though. Maybe he's the reason Ajax was being able to shoot well.
Maybe
he's an actual good shot doctor. Maybe Giannis is just busted.
That could be true. Better than lethal shooter. I'll give him that.
Oh, man. Did you see Marcus linked up with lethal shooter?
Yeah. He's going to miss his next birthday dunk.
He will. He's going to shoot it over the backboard.
Marcus, please don't try to dunk on a nail backboard. Be careful.
Please. Please value yourself, Marcus.
Please. Just three more guys. Cam Reddish has been a hot topic.
Cam Reddish. I'm out. I'm all the way out. I know you talked about this last week, said he was on your list.
Yeah.
He's
not one of my guys. He's on the list.
I was worried
data.
that he was going to be one of your guys.
No, he's not one of my guys.
Okay.
32.3% from three. It's a higher red. Again, within like about 1 point worse than PJ Washington. So pretty close, but not good. 4.36 speed is a yellow, just below the 4.4 mark. But 6'7" height, 7.1 wingspan. The frame is pretty phenomenal. And he was, I would say, a good defender with the Lakers last year. I think the hype has moved from like Cam Reddish is going to be a great two-way player to Cam Reddish has really good defensive upside, which is kind of what the Bucks are looking for now.
That is fair. That is true. Can you tap in to some of that offensive potential?
Yeah.
Be that Arrested Development meme. It didn't work out for them, but maybe.
Yeah,
it'll
maybe
work out
for us.
Probably not. Let's go.
He's
assume that.
Vet min-ish player option is his contract status, by the way.
If anyone pays him more than a vet min, that's it.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if he'll opt in or out. Maybe he'll want another 1+1. Could stay in LA, but it's kind of TBD. And similar note is Josh Okogie, who is 0.3% better from three. Better than him.
What happened to Josh Okogie, man? Like 2 years ago, he was killing it.
Yeah. I just his offense.
Maybe it's the Phoenix thing.
His offense has been a big issue. They've just been unable to run offense with him out there, it seems.
Yeah, I guess that's always been the issue, and maybe you would think Phoenix would be a good situation for him. Maybe there's...
they don't actually space the floor well enough.
That's true, they don't.
All their guys stand around like 16 feet away, so it's like they kind of lose the spacing benefit.
Bud
I think he'll try. Good luck, Bud. But I think Okogie could be a better fit.
Get ready to learn blue squares, buddy.
Yeah, seriously. It's gonna be like him telling Kevin Durant to stand in a blue square. I wish we had video of that. I hope the Suns social media team. You need to stand over here, Kevin.
And Kevin's just like, what? He's like, no. You stand over here.
Pulls out two phones. But yeah, Okogie, you have to work with the offensive limitations. The speed wasn't great, but 6'4" height is a red, but more than a 7-foot wingspan. So he again is a player who makes up for that lack of height with the wingspan, and I think I buy him as a very good defender, too. I think he would be a good upside swing on this list as well.
Yeah, I think he would be. I mean, maybe. I think the defense is there. The athleticism is there.
Yeah.
It's just the offense is such a question mark. And I know that's what the list of players we're in right now, but I
think him, Tate, Jalen McDaniels, like these are probably the biggest. Like, I think even Cam Reddish, even though three, like I think at least he could get to the rim and dunk a little bit more effectively. Some of these guys are just like, can you do anything?
Can he?
More than Okogie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just such a low bar, Josh.
No,
Okogie.
I know. It does make you more excited about Marjan looking at this list.
Right? Doesn't it?
Like, even more than Ajax. I think I expected Ajax to do okay here. I kind of came into it like, is he just that guy and he rates out well in a lot of these things? But Marjan, it's like he's way more skilled offensively than almost everyone on this list. He just needs to be more consistent.
Yeah, he just needs to be more consistent, being able to do it on a larger sample size. And that comes down to Doc just being able to play. Is Marjan going to be able to see the floor? I mean, we've talked about his comments after the season ended about how Marjan might be the most talented of the group, just inconsistencies. It's a big summer for Marjan.
I feel good about him being at some of these Portland workouts with Giannis and Dame. Short flight from Yakima.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's in the Pacific Northwest anyway.
Which will not hurt him. But yeah, that's one player left. Dyson Daniels.
Dyson, I like that.
Everyone throws him in the Pelicans trade rumors because they just have too many of these guys. Like, I didn't do Herb Jones. I don't think he's obtainable. Herb Jones, I'm sure, would rate very well in all of these. I should add him. I mean, he's maybe attainable. But 31.2% from three for Dyson Daniels, which is bad. 4.4 speed is good. 6.7 height is good. Just under green wingspan. He's 6'10 and a half. So pretty long. Good defender. 2 years, about $7 million per year left. On his rookie deal still. Seems like a guy they are ready to move on from. No idea how he would specifically end up with the Bucks. Probably would be part of a bigger trade, but figured I'd add him on here as one of these players. So again,
that Larry Nance Jr. trade, baby.
There you go. Big offensive question mark. That's pretty much this whole section of the thing.
But a big guard.
Yeah. 6'7" guard. And I think he does. I think there's a clearer path to him being a better offensive player than Josh Okogie. I think pretty reasonably.
No, for sure. I love that. I wasn't even thinking about a guy like Dyson. I mean, kind of fallen out of favor in New Orleans. They just have a lot of guys, like you mentioned. A big summer for New Orleans, man.
And they've said it too. I think it was David Griffin was like, "Yeah, we're going to be active." Like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Brandon Ingram's gone. Got it.
Bye, Bi.
He's not on the list.
Get ready to learn Cleveland, buddy. I need to stop doing that. I do that meme too much.
It's a good meme.
It is a very good. I wish I knew what it was from, because obviously Adam Silver did not tell Kyrie Irving, "Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy." He did not say that.
Is this a rare one where it's actually just like somebody just made up the template and it caught fire?
I hope so, because that's
like someone just randomly was like, "Let me just take the Adam Silver and put get ready," because get ready to learn has been around for a while. Of course, that must have just been like somebody's funny tweet, but wow,
get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Is just iconic.
Yeah,
it's iconic. But yeah, I mean, Dyson Daniels, like I said, fallen out of favor. These are guys who are attainable. Like, maybe it's not part of like a bigger deal. Maybe it's just part of its own smaller deal. Who knows? I could see it going either way.
I just don't know.
Like, I
think if they just sent off Dyson Daniels, they'd probably just, probably.
Maybe it's in the aftermath of a bigger trade. Like,
I think it'd have to be another three-way trade though, because I don't like. Why would they want? Okay, we'll take Pat Connaughton on more money for the same time back for Dyson Daniels.
Well, because Pat Connaughton's a proven champion.
That's true.
He is
better shooter.
A veteran presence that every team needs.
Yeah.
He'll spruce up your real estate.
That's yeah.
Maybe
he'll buy the Bass Pro Shops pyramid.
I can't say that in good faith about New Orleans. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think he could do it.
No, he cannot.
He's going to buy up the Nick Cage mausoleum and the haunted house and stuff. Imagine Pat is renting out, like, next to his Milwaukee properties on the Three Leaf website. There's just like a big haunted mausoleum. We have lots of options here at Three Leaf.
Port of Call, New Orleans?
No, I can't reference that movie on this podcast.
Why not?
We'd be here all day.
Bad Lieutenant, that's what it's called, right?
Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
Just the most random movie pull.
Shoot him again. His soul's still dancing.
No one knows what you're talking about.
It's a classic.
That's a pod for a different day.
Yeah, but that's going to be on the premium feed.
Oh,
I'm gonna make everyone watch it. We're gonna talk about it.
You know what? I'm down.
It's unforgettable. There's a couple unfortunate scenes, but it's an unforgettable movie.
Yeah, Adam's not listening, so I can tell you. So I'm starting a Letterboxd as a bit. To bother Adam.
Oh boy, has he seen it yet?
No, he has not. And I know he's not listening to this.
It's like Dark Knight 5.
Oh, Skyfall 1. There's two movies on my list right now. It's the Dark Knight and Skyfall.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, perfect. I nailed it.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Dyson? Oh yeah, Dyson. Pretty attainable.
The vacuum.
Yeah. And it would be a good fit. Like the offensive question mark. I think Dyson, out of these last couple guys, I think Dyson might be the most intriguing for me.
I like Jalen McDaniels. And maybe I'm just a sucker for the brother thing, which, as you said, hasn't always worked out for Milwaukee. But as a player, and they do like doing it. It's just as a player, it's like, again, probably not starter upside here, but is he a guy who could probably come in and be like a big rangy, athletic defender right away? I think, yeah, for sure. The offense is such a question mark. And then at that point, I guess you do get into like, well, why play him ever over Ajax or Marjan? That's another interesting part of this is like if you bring someone in, like, is it worth it to bring in another flyer? Like, would they just never play? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know either. It's
Who is the most intriguing player on the list for you outside of the Bucks guys?
Okay, I was gonna say on the entire list it's Marjon Beauchamp, man.
Yeah,
I think maybe Highsmith.
I like Highsmith a lot. If they got Highsmith on a vet min, I would go crazy.
Highsmith or Dyson?
Yeah, who would you want to acquire the most? I guess is another way to put it. Like Wiggins is the most proven, the most expensive monetarily. I just don't know about him, man.
I don't know about Wiggins either. Maybe a DeAndre Hunter, but the injury questions are there.
Yeah, I think he has a pretty direct translation. Like you put him up next to PJ Washington. Hunter has been a better shooter. He's moved slower. Again, maybe that's the Hawks of it all. Same height, almost same wingspan.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen Hunter defend well before. Like he is certainly that same kind of player where you like drop him on a good team, and I think he could look much, much better.
For sure, which is why I'm very, very intrigued by him. It's the injury question. You can't sink that much money into a guy with that much injury questions, and maybe it's not. It doesn't even end up being that way. Maybe he ends up being more consistent as a member of the Bucks with their medical staff and everything. But I don't know. In terms of like that's still a $20+ million player.
Yeah.
Haywood Highsmith, Dyson Daniels, and DeAndre Hunter are my three guys outside of the Bucks.
We're not counting like Derrick Jones Jr. himself, I'm guessing.
No.
He would come in and start right away. He'd be perfect.
Yes, he would be perfect.
They can't offer him any money. And
Derrick Jones Jr. would be the best Derrick Jones Jr., even though he may not be the best Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, he would be. I think even... Well, would you rather have him or PJ Washington? I think I'd take Derrick Jones Jr.
I think I'd take DJJ.
For. Yeah. I think I'd prefer the guy who I think can size down a little better, a little quicker.
For sure. Especially when you have him, if you have a backcourt that involves Damian Lillard and a lot of switching, you need to be able to have a guy who can size down.
I'd put him on guards a lot more comfortably than PJ Washington.
For sure.
Yeah, I think there's a couple like Hunter is a guy like maybe he comes in and starts. Highsmith, probably not, but he'd compete for it. And then I think there's some guys like Torrey Craig and Javonte Green, the Bulls. Like these are more like, can you slide him in for boss man? That's how I feel about Jalen McDaniels, like a Cam Reddish. Like these are guys where it's like, he comes off the bench and just gives you more of that where you wanted it from boss man and just didn't get it from boss man.
True. Would a guy like DeMar DeRozan fit in, if we're just throwing out Bulls? Sorry, I know that's not the exercise.
He wouldn't rank well. Actually, he probably has pretty decent height wingspan.
I mean, he's like, what, 6'7"? 6'5"?
Is he that big? I think he's like, 6'5", 6'6". But I feel like he's kind of long, actually.
DeMar DeRozan is... Why isn't it telling me?
It's a mystery.
DeMar DeRozan is 6'6".
6'9" wingspan.
There we go. Probably not.
This is though. Apparently, he has a very similar frame to Stephon Castle, who is a much better defender.
Yeah.
If DeMar Darnell would just lock in.
DeMar Darnell DeRozan.
Imagine DeMar comes to the Bucks and is just a good defender all of a sudden.
Oh, I thought you were going to say everyone else just starts going by Darnell.
Oh, no, that'd be pretty cool. But DeMar is nothing wrong with James, but DeMar is, come on.
That's a sick name.
DeMar DeRozan is such a great name.
It is a great name. James Middleton. Good old Jim.
I'm a little disappointed that it's not another D lowercase capital name for the middle name.
Yeah.
But would that be overdoing it?
I think it might be overdoing it.
Yeah. Darnell's a good name too.
Yeah, we don't know if there's any familial thing there.
Sure.
Do you think Khris responds if someone calls him James?
I'm going to guess no.
It's like, hey, James.
I would guess no. I feel like it doesn't seem like it's just a basketball thing.
Yeah, that's fair. What do you think his family calls him? Khris?
Maybe like his mom. But I feel like on the street he wouldn't look for James.
Yeah.
Maybe he would.
It's like you're like in a room with Khris and like two other people. You just say, hey, James, do you think he looks over?
No.
No? What about Jim? Hey, Jimmy?
Definitely not. No. Jimmy? I'm trying to remember if in the Jim Ozarski article, if he mentions what his family calls him. I thought it was still Khris, but I don't remember.
It's probably Khris. And you ever just riff?
Yeah, it's clearly.
I think that's the sign we should wrap this up. But no, that is an amazing list. Well done, Ty, putting that together. A lot of fun names in there.
Yeah, I'll keep adding to it. If anyone has good names that they would like added, let me know, and I can get the metrics and add them too as I put this together. What I'll probably do is like find a way to link it in the Substack so I can keep editing it. So
I'm sure if you put
to
in
GSPN
like a
Premium
sheet or something.
Yeah. So let me know about that as you listen and think about this list, and make sure you subscribe to GSPN Premium to get the full data set, so you can review it yourselves and watch the additions.
For sure. It'll be something we keep going forward, and I think this is a valuable tool. So well done, Ty, on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Watch them get none of these guys and then trade one away. John Horace deep in his bag. Doug McDermott's available?
Oh my God! Don't even
hit a shot yesterday.
Don't even speak that into existence. Yeah, what else is he supposed to do?
Clap.
Talking about this with Newmock yesterday, like, hey, Dougie McBuckets is doing something. It's like, yeah, he's like hitting a shot. It's like, yeah, good. I'd hope so. What else is
your whole job?
Yeah, that's the only thing he's supposed to do out there.
Yeah.
If he's not doing that, what's the point?
Remember when he was on? Like, was it like 8-figure per year contract?
Crazy.
A shooting overvaluation was pretty crazy. The Duncan Robinson contract.
Did Pop give him that contract?
Was it, or was it the Pacers?
I think it might have been the Pacers.
I think he got sent to Pop. You know, where overpriced role players went to die for quite a while, and still Devontae Graham is still there.
Oh yeah, he is. Do you see that? What about Keldon? Apparently the Spurs might move on from him.
Yeah, I should add Keldon. I assume he would be too expensive to get. He's also a little short for this list. Like he's 6'5". I don't know much about Keldon Johnson.
I think the Spurs gave him this contract.
Did they?
The Spurs did give him this contract.
More riffing.
That's crazy.
Rohan, just making sure we get to an hour and a half on all. We think we have nothing to talk about. Ends up being 90-minute pod.
Okay, well,
we like hearing each other talk and ourselves talk.
We do. But no, we'll wrap this up. Say thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on GSPN and Blue Wire, presented by Prize Picks. Make sure that you are subscribed to GSPN Premium to be able to get access to the full DJJ list and be able to see everything we have going forward, see, watch, read everything we have going forward. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Draft coverage coming soon, we promise. Yeah, make sure you check out, I guess I don't even have to give multiple links. It's all gspn.info now. We have a new hub for everything. Everything is gspn.info. Just go to gspn.info, find everything. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this, watching this on your podcast platform of choice, or watching on YouTube. Hopefully you're on the ad-free feed on the GSPN Premium. But if not, also, we still support you. You don't have to sign up. Everything is going to stay the same for you. So, appreciate you listening. Pod Random, and we'll talk to you next time.